day, everyone! Welcome to Bamboo Telescuela. This is your school on air in Science Grade 9. And I am Teacher Teresa, your teacher on air. My dear Grade 9 students, how are you today? I hope you are doing fine. I am very happy to join with you today. So stay tuned to DWND-FM at CMD Cablevision Channel 8 and streaming live at SDO Kawayan Facebook page. I'm here once again to continue the lesson last week. Are you excited? What are you waiting for? Grab your modules in science and let's enjoy the day. Again, I have two reminders for you. First, you will answer the questions after the discussion. Second, you prepare your module, your pen, and your answer sheet. Now, let's proceed to the next lesson, the circulatory system. After going through this module, you are expected to: number 1, define the circulatory system. Number 2, identify the components of the circulatory system. And number 3, trace the path of the blood through the heart, to the lungs, and to the rest of the body. Before we proceed to the lesson, let's answer true or false. Number 1, the heart is as big as your fist. What's your answer? True or false? So the correct answer is true. Number 2, the heart has 2 chambers. What's your answer? True or false? And the correct answer is false. Number 3, the heart has 2 pumps. What's your answer? True or false? And the correct answer is true. Number 4, the heart works together with the lungs. What's your answer? True or false? And the correct answer is true. Number 5, the heart propels the blood, which carries all the materials and removes the waste product that we do not need. What's your answer? True or false? The correct answer is true. And now, let's start the lesson. What do you know about the circulatory system? I know you have a lot on your mind. Can you define the circulatory system? The circulatory system, or the cardiovascular system, or the vascular system, is an organ system that permits blood to circulate and transport nutrients such as amino acids and electrolytes, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones, and blood cells to and from the cells in the body to provide nourishment and help in fighting disease, stabilize temperature and pH, and maintain homeostasis. It is also known as the life support structure that nourishes your cells with food and oxygen. It also carries away the waste products. The circulatory system can be compared to a complex arrangement of highways, avenues, lanes, connecting all the cells together into a neighborhood. Sequentially, the community of cells sustains the body to stay alive. The circulatory system is a broad term that encompasses the cardiovascular and lymphatic systems. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart, or cardio, and the vessels required for transport of blood, or vascular. The vascular system consists of arteries, veins, and capillaries. Vertebrates, animals with backbones like fish, birds, reptiles, and etc.,
including most mammals, have closed cardiovascular systems.
There are three major parts of the circulatory system. Number one, the heart. The heart pumps the blood throughout the body. Number two, the blood vessel. It carries the blood away from the heart to the cells, tissues, and organs of the body. Number three, the blood. It carries the material throughout the body. There are three kinds of blood vessels. First, arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the cells, tissues, and organs of the body. Second, veins carry the oxygenated blood to the heart. Third, capillaries. It is the smallest blood vessel in the body, connecting the smallest arteries to the smallest veins. It is also the actual site where gases and nutrients are exchanged.
The two main circulation pathways in invertebrates are the single and double circulation pathways. Single circulatory pathways, as shown in the diagram, consists of a double-chambered heart with an atrium and ventricle. The heart structure will be described in details. Fish possess single circulation pathways. The heart pumps the oxygenated blood to the gills, where it gets oxygenated. Oxygenated blood is then supplied to the entire fish body, with the oxygenated blood returning to the heart. Double circulation pathways are found in birds and mammals. Animals with this type of circulatory system have a four-chambered heart. The right atrium receives the oxygenated from the body, and the right ventricle sends it to the lungs to be oxygenated. The left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, and the left ventricle sends it to the rest of the body. Most mammals, including humans, have this type of circulatory system. These circulatory systems are called double circulatory systems because they are made up of two circuits, referred to as the pulmonary and systemic circulatory systems. Note: humans, birds, and mammals have a four-chambered heart. Fish have a two-chambered heart, one atrium and one ventricle. Amphibians have a three-chambered heart with two atria and one ventricle. The advantage of a four-chambered heart is that there is no mixture of the oxygenated and the oxygenated blood.
There are three types of circulation. Number one, pulmonary circulation. It is the movement of blood from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. Number two, coronary circulation. It is the movement of blood through the tissues of the heart. And number three, systemic circulation. It is the movement of blood from the heart to the rest of the body, excluding the lungs. Can you describe the human heart? The human heart is a hollow muscle which is just as big as your fist. It has four separate chambers, the two ventricles and the two atria. The heart has two pumps, the upper and the lower chambers. The atria are the receiving chambers of the heart, accepting blood from the body to the right atrium and from the lungs, the left atrium. The ventricles are the pumping chambers, moving blood to the lungs or to the right ventricle and into the body or to the left ventricle. There is a valve between each atrium and ventricle to prevent the blood from flowing backwards. They are like one-way doors that keep the blood moving in only one direction. Valves control the movement of blood into the heart chambers and out to the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Did you already know the four major divisions of the heart? And now, let's watch a video for you to understand how the circulatory system works.
Your heart is a pump. It's a muscular organ about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your chest. Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body. In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year. Oxygen-poor blood, blue blood, returns to the heart after circulating through your body. The right side of the heart, composed of the right atrium and ventricle, collects and pumps the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. The lungs refresh the blood with a new supply of oxygen, making it turn red. Oxygen-rich blood, red blood, then enters the left side of the heart, composed of the left atrium and ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to the body to supply tissues with oxygen. 4 valves within your heart keep your blood moving the right way. The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary, and aortic valves work like gates on a fence. They open only one way and only when pushed on. Each valve opens and closes once per heartbeat, or about once every second. A beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxing is called diastole. During systole, your ventricles contract, forcing blood into the vessels going to your lungs and body, much like ketchup being forced out of a squeeze bottle. The right ventricle contracts a little bit before the left ventricle does. Your ventricles then relax during diastole and are filled with blood coming from the upper chambers, the left and right atria. Then the cycle starts over again. Your heart is nourished by blood too. Blood vessels called coronary arteries extend over the surface of your heart and branch into smaller capillaries. Here you can see just the network of blood vessels that feed your heart with oxygen-rich blood. Your heart also has electrical wiring, which keeps it beating. Electrical impulses begin high in the right atrium and travel through specialized pathways to the ventricles, delivering the signal to pump. The conduction system keeps your heart beating in a coordinated and normal rhythm, which in turn keeps blood circulating. The continuous exchange of oxygen-rich blood with oxygen-poor blood is what keeps you alive.
Are you enlightened after watching the video? So based from the video, how does the blood flows to the heart? Blood flows through your heart and lungs in 4 steps. Number 1, the right atrium receives oxygen for blood from the body and pumps it to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Number 2, the right ventricle pumps the oxygen for blood to the lungs through the pulmonary valve. Number 3, the left atrium receives oxygen-rich blood from the lungs and pumps it to the left ventricle through the mitral valve. Number 4, the left ventricle pumps the oxygen-rich blood through the aortic valve out to the rest of the body. Last week, can you still remember the song entitled I Have Two Lungs? Now, let us examine the internal structure of the heart using a music video entitled The Muscle That's Your Heart in the tune of Me and My Broken Heart. Let's a liquid flowing, bringing alive, travels in the vessels made of 2 parts. Arteries to the capillaries it starts. It pumps out from your heart. The plasma platelets hotter than a wine. Blood is made up of all of its parts, controlling temperature when fighting germs. The muscles that your heart organ. It is the heart, you got one, made of four parts, their chambers, atrial ventricles, two up, two down, one way, valves in chambers have fluoride, blood forces cups open wide, valve shut, we hear the sound, the heartbeat sound. Blood passes through the heart twice and tall. Pump right side comes back, left and goes out to body. There's a liquid flowing, bringing you life. Troubles in the vessels made of two parts. Arteries to the capillaries, it starts. It pumps out from your heart. The plasma platelets house red and white. That is made up of all of its parts, controlling temperature when fighting germs. The muscles that your heart, circulatory, transport substances through me, food, oxygen, it upstreams, heart vessels and the blood to the body. Two times blood passes through the heart twice, cut to the lungs from right side, back to the left, it's bound to the body. Blood passes through the heart twice and tall. Pump right side comes back, left and goes out to body. There's a liquid flowing, bringing you life. Troubles in the vessels made of two parts. Arteries to the capillaries, it starts. It pumps out from your heart. The plasma platelets house red and white. That is made up of all of its parts, controlling temperature when fighting germs. The muscles that your heart, whoa, whoa, it pumps out from your heart. Whoa, whoa, it pumps out from you. Yeah, yeah. It pans out from you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Circulatory, circulatory, circulatory. It pans out from your heart. There's a liquid flowing, bringing you life. Troubles in the vessels made of two parts. Arteries to the capillaries, it starts. It pans out from your heart. The plasma platelets house red and white. Blood is made up of all of its parts, controlling temperature when fighting germs. The muscles that your heart. How do you find the music video? Do you know the tune of the song? Maybe some of you are in the LSS state right now. The internal structure of the heart. The following are the parts. Aorta, left pulmonary arteries, left pulmonary veins, left atrium, mitral valve, aortic valve, left ventricle, and the septum. On the right side of the heart, we have the superior vena cava, right pulmonary arteries, right pulmonary veins, right atrium, pulmonary valve, right cuspid valve, inferior vena cava, and the right ventricle. Do you want more?
The external structure of the heart. The heart is a large muscle about the size of your clenched fist that pumps blood through repeated rhythmic contractions. The heart is situated in your thorax, just behind your breastbone, in a space called the pericardial cavity. The heart is enclosed by a double protective membrane called the pericardium. The region between the two pericardium layers is filled with pericardial fluid, which protects the heart from shock and enables the heart to contract without friction. The heart is a muscle, or myocardium, and consists of 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers of the heart are called atria. In singular, it is called atrium. The 2 atria are separated by the interatrial septum. The lower 2 chambers of the heart are known as ventricles and are separated from each other. In addition, there are a number of large blood vessels that carry blood towards and away from the heart. On the right side of the heart, the superior vena cava transports the oxygenated blood from the head and arms, and the inferior vena cava transport the oxygenated blood from the lower part of the body back to the heart, where it enters the right atrium. The pulmonary artery carries the oxygenated blood away from the right ventricle of the heart toward the lungs to be oxygenated. On the left side of the heart, the pulmonary vein brings oxygenated blood from the lungs toward the left atrium of the heart, and the oxygenated blood exits the left ventricle via the aorta and is transported to all parts of the body. Since the heart is a muscle and therefore requires oxygen and nutrients itself to keep beating, it receives blood from the coronary arteries and returns the oxygenated blood via the coronary veins. The septum divides the left and right sides of the heart in order to make sure that blood flows in only one direction, forward direction, and to prevent backflow of blood. There are valves between the atria and ventricles. The atrioventricular valves. These valves only open in one direction to let blood into the ventricles and are flapped shut by the pressure of the blood when the ventricles contract. The tricuspid valve is situated between the right atrium and the right ventricle, while the bicuspid or mitral valve is found between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Strong tendinous cords or cordae tendinae attached to valves prevent them from turning inside out when they close. The semilunar valves are located at the bottom of the aorta and pulmonary artery and prevent blood from re-entering the ventricles after it has been pumped out of the heart.
You are given ample time to answer the activity because you have your module with you. So go over your answer later, okay? Did you learn something today? How do you find the activities in the lesson? Can you now define the circulatory system? Can you identify the components of the circulatory system? How the circulatory system works? I hope you learned the importance of the circulatory system. Despite the situation we are having right now, always have a mindset that learning is very important. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope your brain can accommodate the knowledge you learned today. For inquiries, call me at my CP number found on page 22. Good job, grade 9 students! You are done with the first and second lesson for quarter 1. In Psalm 32 verse 8, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Goodbye, my dear grade 9 students, and to all the televiewers and listeners. God bless everyone. I am Teacher Teresa, your teacher on air, signing off.